In Roll for the Galaxy, you are the head of a galactic faction with dreams of becoming the greatest space empire in history. From the humble beginnings of a couple planets and some unique technology, you'll acquire and employ workers represented by dice to either further expand your holdings or ship goods to faraway worlds for influence and profit. Your objective in Roll for the Galaxy is to have the most influence victory points when the game ends. These can be acquired by developing new technologies, settling worlds, and or shipping goods across the galaxy. The game ends when any player reaches 12 tile squares worth of developments and settlements in their tableau, or when all the available victory point chips have been claimed for shipping trade goods. To set up, make sure that all the double-sided improvement and planet tiles are in the black bag. Give each player a player mat along with a dice cup and credit marker in the color of their choice. This credit marker should be placed on the 1 credit space on their player mat. Give each player a player screen and a phase strip, and place 12 victory point chips per player in the center of the table, returning the rest to the game box. Once everybody has their starting setup, deal each player a random faction and a random starting world. These are the double and single length tiles with blank backs. These tableaus of tiles will represent each player's empire, and will contain all of a player's completed developments and settlements later in the game. Once everyone has a starting empire, return the remaining start tiles to the game box. Next, each player takes their initial worker dice. They get 3 white or home dice in their cup, 2 more white dice on the citizenry space of their player mat, and additional dice in the color and location specified on their starting tiles. Finally, each player should draw 2 tiles from the bag of double-sided development planet tiles. Place one of these tiles development side up on the development space of the playmat, and the other planet side up on the planet space. It is recommended that newer players should use the cheapest development and planet on these 2 tiles for their starting setup. To start each round, each player rolls all the dice in their cup behind their screen, keeping the results hidden from the other players. Initially, assign workers to phases by placing them below the phase strip in columns, matching each die face rolled with the phase symbol. In phase selection, each player selects a phase by taking 1 worker and placing it on any space on the strip. Each player's selected phase will be the only ones that occur in a round. You can also reassign during this phase. You always have the built-in dictate power on your phase strip. Once all players have finished assigning their dice, they lift their screens to reveal their assigned workers, announcing the phase they have selected. Flip the matching phase tile from its X side to its black side. Any workers assigned to phases that are not occurring this round are replaced in their users' cups to be used again. Both the development and for the Explore phase, you have 2 choices for each of your workers. These explorers can either scout for a new tile or stock to gain credits. Each worker must be used 1 at a time and is then placed into the citizenry area of your mat. When using workers as scout, draw 1 tile from the bag of tiles, choose either its development or planet side, and place it on the bottom of its respective stack on your board. To use a worker as a stalker, simply move your credit marker up 2 spaces on the credit track. When scouting, you may abandon tiles you already have to draw additional tiles from the bag. Before you start drawing, just take any number of tiles from your mat and place them under the Explore phase tile. Draw and place tiles from the bag 1 at a time until you've taken 1 for each tile you abandoned and 1 for your worker. Any tiles under the Explore phase marker are put back in the bag after everyone is done exploring. Both the development and settlement phases are virtually identical. In the development phase, take all your developer dice and place them on top of the development stack on your player mat. If the number on the tile on top of your stack is equal to or less than the number of dice there, you may immediately add it to your tableau and get its effects by sending that number of dice to your citizenry. If you also have enough dice to pay for the next tile, you can continue sending dice to your citizenry and add those tiles to your tableau until you run out of tiles or if you have insufficient dice. The settlement phase works the same way, except that your workers are instead placed on top of your planet stack. Again, if the number on the topmost planet is equal to or less than the dice on top of it, you may send those dice to your citizenry to add that planet to your tableau. Any leftover dice remain on their respective stacks, even if there are no tiles left in that stack. The production and shipping phases are both closely related to each other. In the production phase, your worker dice become goods that you can place on any of the colored planets in your tableau. Production dice and planets do not have to match colors, but you can receive a bonus later if they do. Each planet can only have 1 of these dice at a time, and gray planets cannot have any. Leftover production dice are returned to your cup. The shipping phase lets you remove goods dice from your planets. For each shipper, you can move both it and 1 of your goods dice to your citizenry for either credits or victory points. When trading for credits, goods are worth a fixed number based on their planet color, and a full list is on the cheat sheet inside your player screen. When trading for victory points, each good is worth 1 point, and an additional point if the color of the good or the color of the ship each matches the planet it was shipped from, up to 3 points per good. Purple consumption dice are considered any color when it comes to these bonus points. At the end of the turn is the Manage Empire phase. First, each player can move any number of dice from their citizenry to their cup by paying 1 credit per die. If your credits are at 0 after this, you can move your credit marker back up to the 1 space. You can also recall any of your dice on the table, developers, settlers, or goods, and put them back in your cup for free. You must have at least 1 die in your cup at the end of the turn. Finally, all phase tiles get flipped back over to their X sides, check the VP pile, and count the tiles in each player's tableau. If there are no VP counters left, or if any player has 12 or more tile squares in their tableau, the game is over. Otherwise, it's time to start a new round. If the game is over, each player counts up their victory points. Players add up their VP chips, all of the numbers on the developments and settlements in their tableau, and any bonus VPs from their completed 6-cost developments, beyond the 6 points for the development itself. If there's a tie, check who has the most dice in their cup, followed by who has the most credits. And as always, the person with the highest score wins!